Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you an Ice Lore Bard build guide in Baldur's Gate 3. So, cold damage is extremely good, and there's some cool synergies that we get with the Lore Bard that I wanted to talk about in this video. So, we're going to be starting obviously as the Bard here. This gives us some cool cantrips, like we get ourselves a Vicious Mockery, one of my favorites because of the voice lines that's in it. And I also recommend using Mage Hand. But also, Minor Illusion is great to group enemies together. The reason Mage Hand's so good is because it can throw water bottles to set up vulnerability to cold damage spells. As for the spells that we're going to be selecting at level 1 here, I think that it's best to go with Healing Word for a bonus action. You can pick up your downed allies with this. I also think that Dissonant Whispers is a great choice. Psychic damage 3d6, it'll frighten a creature and they'll have disadvantage on ability checks and attack rolls, and they cannot move. That's pretty big. Thunderwave's also great because this gives you the pushback that can actually end some encounters really easily. And you can also sneak up it with this too. Sleep is good early game because you can put 3 goblins to sleep. But Tasha's Hideous Laughter is what we're going to take for our next level. Pick the instrument that you find works best. And as for our ability scores, now we do require a bit of charisma, obviously, as a bard. If this is the face of the party, use 17 charisma and take the Hag's Hair to take it up to 18, and then you can use the ability score to take up to 20, but we're going to take it out there. We want to have high dexterity as well. That's going to give us a good armor class, and then the rest of the points into constitution. So something like this works well: 16 dexterity, 14 constitution, 12 wisdom, and 16 charisma. As for our ability scores, I think having acrobatics is super crucial because this will resist us getting shoved around. And deception, persuasion, go with 2 of the dialogue options if this is the face of your party. And now for the ability scores, we're going to go, or as for the gear, I'll be going over the gear at the end of the video, but I'll be going through the full leveling guide here. At level 2, we get Song of Rest, giving us an extra short rest, and then also Jack of All Trades, adding half the proficiency bonus to ability checks we're not proficient in. As for the spell that we'll take at next level, Disguise Self can be pretty fun. Long Strider to increase movement speed by 3 is also great. You get a lot of potions of animal speak, so don't take that, but we'll go with something like that, Long Strider. Even though you can have someone at camp cast it on everyone, it's just not a bad one to have. As for level 3, we get to choose some newer, higher-leveled spells. And I think that it's good to go with Hold Person. This is a concentration, but you can trap enemies, and then attacks within 3 meters are critical hits. That's really nice. I also think it's good to go with, some people really like Cloud of Daggers, because this is just a straight-up 4d4 of slashing damage. You can also drop a bunch of poison bottles and break them with this, so another option you got. But yeah, Hold Person is a great choice there, so we're going to go with that. And we had to choose 2 new skills here, so you can add to your acrobatics, and then we can also add to the persuasion. That's probably going to be the most common dialogue option that you'll find in this game. And then add to our performance, and yeah, I think Arcana or Stealth is a good one if you want to be a little stealthier, and Sleight of Hand we'll go with there, so confirm. And with the College of Lore, we get Cutting Words, which will apply a 1d6 penalty to attack rolls. That's the best choice, I think, for this, is just giving yourself the greater survivability. And that'll increase to a 1d10. So, Cutting Words also gives great dialogue options, similar to Vicious Mockery. Really love it. I love the College of Sword Bard, but we're going to go with this one because this was a request. So, yeah. Next level here, we also get a feat. Now, for the cantrip, I would take Minor Illusion, and then our next level spell. Invisibility can be pretty nice. This can be actually very useful in a lot of situations, so go with that. Knock can be good too to unlock locks, and Cloud of Daggers, as I mentioned, is super useful. As for the feat, I would say that going with the... You could take something like the Spell Sniper, and then this will give us an increased chance to hit critical hits, and then we could take Ray of Frost, giving us the cold theming. But we're going to hold off on that right now. We're going to take an ability score improvement to take our charisma up to 18, because that's what's going to land our attacks a little bit more frequently and give us a bit more damage. Now, our Bardic Inspiration will now regenerate on long or short rest, and we get improved Bardic Inspiration. So the benefits become a 1d8. Our Cutting Words will also increase a 1d8. And we get level 3 spells, which we're going to take Glyph of Warding, because this is actually cold damage. We can make it cold damage, so that's our first real cold spell. That's the only downside, is we don't get actual cold spells till level 6, and we get ourselves the magical secrets from the Lore Bard. So you also get counter charm, so enemies, you get advantage on saving throws against being charmed or frightened. For the spells it will take, Plant Growth can actually be pretty good because it quarters movement speed and you can hold people in place. Like if we get, well, I'll talk about here, Hunger of Hadar. This is a cold spell, and this is going to be a really great option for us because it deals cold damage, 2d6 and 2d8 of acid damage, and creatures within are blinded and take damage at the start of the turn and at the end of their turn. This is a huge spell. I love Hunger of Hadar. Normally, I'm a big fan of taking the Lore Bard and using the Spirit Guardians, but in this case, this is our concentration, and it works a little bit better for the purposes of this build. Now, you might want to take, if you want a cantrip, you could take Ray of Frost. I don't recommend it. Or Ice Knife, I don't recommend it. Chromatic Orb can be changed to cold damage, which is another option you got. So it will deal pure cold damage, which is a little bit better. I think a Spiritual Weapon is another great choice. Misty Step is also really useful. Now, I do think there's a lot of merit, because in either Lightning Bolt or Call Lightning, because we're going to be creating water with our cold spells, and Lightning Bolt will be doubled in Cold Lightning, and Call Lightning will be too. This one does require concentration to keep casting it, so I think I want to take Lightning Bolt. I think this just works really well with this build. It gives us a nice damage option. Fireball is another good choice, but it doesn't fit the theming of this build, whereas Lightning can be doubled. Now, as I mentioned, Hunger of Hadar with Plant Growth, goodbye. They ain't moving out of that. So having this will deal damage to the targets and blind them, and then when they're in it, they have a hard time getting out with the Plant Growth. Really synergetic combination there. Now for level 7, we get to choose another leveled spell. I like Confusion to confuse a group of enemies, or Greater Invisibility. It turns a creature invisible, attacks again, and have disadvantage, and it attacks with advantage. So we'll go with that. We can also use Abandoned Mystic Scoundrel to attack, and then use that as a bonus action, so that's another choice you got. Confusion's really great, though, so we'll go with that. But Fear is also good. It makes the target drop their sword, and you can pick it up, but we'll go Confusion. And for our feat, now, there's a couple of really great options. If we left it at 17, you could actually take the Actor perk and it'll add your proficiency bonus to double on Deception and Performance checks. So that is a good choice there. But we do have a few different options that we could go with, potentially, like Warcaster gives you Shock and Grasp as a reaction, and advantage on saving throws to hold concentration on a spell. However, there's an Amulet late game that will give you that same benefit, so I'm going to go with the increase to Charisma. However, the Alert perk for the +5 to Initiative is also a really great choice, so you could go with that, but 20 Charisma, just nice. If you use the Hag's Hair, you could take Alert there. And yeah, for our next leveled spell, we get our level 5 spells here, and one more level till we get our big power spike. I think it's best to go with Hold Monster. This is just useful in a variety of situations. Critical hits from within 3 meters is always nice. And level 10, we get awesome benefits here. Improved Bardic Inspiration increases to 1d10. As for the cantrip, should have taken Friends earlier if you're the face of the party. And then we can also go with something like, I don't love Planar Binding or Dominate Person, but it's an okay choice if you don't want anything lower here. So you can go with that. As for the magical secrets, this is a cold build, so we're obviously taking Cone of Cold. You may think Ice Storm, but nah. We're going to go with Conjure Elemental, because this can set up water vulnerability, or cold vulnerability for us. The Water Elemental's main attack will make puddles of water, applying the double damage for cold. In addition, we also have the Water Mirror Madame, which can apply water to a huge amount of targets. So these go together very, very well. We also get an increase to one of the skills here. I would go with Stealth and Performance. Pretty good choices. So yeah, now this is where the build kind of caps off. So I actually think that there's a good choice we can go with here. We can add in the Cleric. In particular, like, we get our Cleric spells, woohoo, but Tempest Cleric, because we already got Thunderwave, but will give us Fog Cloud, and it gives us a reaction. So whenever we get attacked, we can strike back with Lightning and deal 2 to 6 lightning damage. On top of this, it'll also give us Create Water, so we can also set up our own damage spells. So we can go with the Create Water there, giving ourselves that, and then Healing Word we already have, but I wouldn't go with anything that requires a spell save, because we don't have High Wisdom with only 12, but Sanctuary and Create or Destroy Water, 2 great options. So we'll go with that there. You can also start with the 2 levels of the Cleric to be able to give ourselves the ability to use Charisma as our scroll casting. But the level 2 of Cleric's really great, because we get Destructive Wrath. So when we roll Thunder or Lightning damage, you can use Channel Divinity to deal maximum damage instead. So that Lightning Bolt that we have becomes a guaranteed 98 damage with Create Water. That is really nice. Pray to turn all undead that you can see. Pretty cool. We get our 1 Channel Divinity charge there. You get to choose a deity. I like Selune, because she got great choices for dialogue. And Yeah, I guess Bless is even another decent one. Concentration you could take. If you don't have anyone with Bless, you could take that. So here it is. What makes this build so good is cold damage is very versatile. So I would swap out this and put on probably the Wave Mother's Robe if you want to use medium armor. I do have the Cold Snap Dagger in the offhand, so when creature misses you with an attack, it must succeed a DC 13 Constitution saving throw or become chilled for 2 turns. And if you apply water to someone that's chilled, they freeze, and then they become vulnerable to piercing, or become vulnerable to bludgeoning, thunder, and force damage. But you could even go with something a little differently. You could add that in the main hand and then use a shield in the offhand. That'll give you 19 armor class. This does cold damage, so it still fits in the theme. We could also go with the Flail of the Ages, because this allows us to do the chilled condition as well. So, got a couple good options there. We can also take something like the Gaunter Mail there, and then add in the Callous Glow Ring. So we got the Snow Burst Ring. This is a huge piece of this build. So when the wearer deals cold damage, they create a 4.5 meter circle of ice around the target. And I got the Evasive Shoes on there, but the Winter's Crutches. So when we deal cold damage, inflict 2 turns of encrusted with frost on the target. The Wave Mother's Robe also gives us resistance to fire and cold damage, and it gives us a level 4 create water. So the beautiful part about the this is we get this huge ability to create water in a large area. So just to show you guys how powerful that is, we can also then use our Lightning Bolt here, and we got our Destructive Wrath. So you can see 96, 96, 96, 96, 96. We one-shot Jahara. We almost took everyone else out. Halsin has some armor that protects him. Minsk almost got taken out. So, yeah, that's why I wanted to add in the take Lightning Bolt and add in the Tempest Cleric, because that gives us a huge blast potential. But we can also go with, like, there's Water Myrmidon, which is really great. But I'm going to show you what the Water Elemental can do for us. So I'll summon that in with our music. And then the Water Elemental, its main attack, will create a puddle of water around the site and also deals cold damage. So, yeah, we got a lot of great options here. These all deal cold damage. You also get a Elemental Warp, so you can teleport around. So the Water Elemental is really nice for a variety of reasons. But just being able to set up water without even thinking about it is really nice. So that allows you to actually equip like heavy armor if you wanted to go with something like that. So a nice 25 armor class. That's solid. We can even dye it to make it fit thematically with the light blue dye. Also, the Helmet of Arcane Acuity, if you want to do some melee attacks, this will give us the ability to add Arcane Acuity, increasing our spell save DC. So attacking with like with a bow and doing Arrow of Many Targets, that can stack up our Arcane Acuity. We can also go with the Birthright, which will give us a nice 22 Charisma. Alternatively, there's also the Hood of the Weave. That's really great. It's plus 2 spell save DC and spell attack rolls. So a few different options there that we got. Even if you want to, Helm of Baldur, we'll give it 26 armor class. So that is an option too. But the Callous Glow Ring is nice with this bow. And if you don't want to go with that ring, Band of the Mystic Scoundrel will allow you bonus action after you attack. Ring of Protection, obviously good too. So we could get up to 27 armor class. But the way we want to do things is we'd want to lay down our plant growth, so they're going to start to move away. And then we can apply our Hunger of Hadar, and that's going to cause damage, cold damage, and it'll also create the little ice puddle there. But whenever we do that, we can then follow it up with a nice Cone of Cold. So that is our big damage option right there, is Cone of Cold. Cone of Cold is seriously so good. We're going to probably take out most people there, 35, 37. And then it creates the ice surfaces there. So I'd recommend probably having like Nir's boots on. This gives you Misty Step, and then you don't slip on ice, so you're immune to being knocked prone. Really great, because that can just completely upset the game. But yeah, Plant Growth plus Hunger of Hadar is really nice. Unfortunately, we do take damage if we got that Hunger of Hadar there. But yeah, those two work great together. Also with the Flail of the Ages, we get the Elemental Age, and we can make cold damage here. So the Glacial Age will add additional damage to our attacks. So if we did get with the Band of the Mystic Scoundrel, we can get that. But now attacking with this, so I'll just demonstrate. If we were to attack here, nope. I'll go attack Shadowheart. She has more health. Luck of the Far Realms. Boom. Oh, geez. So we got the ice off. It gave us chilled and encrusted with frost. So 2 statuses, which is nice. And even if you went with the Boots of Stormy Clamor, that'd be 2 turns of reverberation as well. So lots of synergy there. That is what's nice about the Flail of the Ages there, is we can create water, or we can give them chilled as well as encrusted with frost, as well as create the icy surface, so they're going to slip and fall. So even though this isn't really a class that you would be doing like a lot of melee attacks with, they still work pretty well. So yeah, that is another option you got there. But typically we'd want to be using our elemental, getting up and doing some cold damage right in their face. I can't use Vicious Mockery even though it's an awesome spell, but Cone of Cold is such a powerful spell because you can have the create water there. So we'll take out the elemental, and then he can attack with his slam. And even if you miss, you still create water on the surface, and it also chills the target. So that's another nice benefit. But then what we can do is we can go back to here, and then we do Cone of Cold, and it's going to do a ton of damage. So we'll probably take out both of them there with that, and it creates the icy surfaces. So yeah, those two spells in tandem work incredibly well. We only get one channel divinity to do the big blast with the lightning bolt, but even then that's still pretty good. And we also got our create water to be able to set up from the cleric, and then we can follow it up with another lightning bolt there, which is really great. 60 damage, that's pretty good, and we can also spam that. So that's one nice benefit of it, is you get a ton of extra damage. We already killed Gale really quickly there. Poor guy. But even things like Tasha's Hideous Laughter are pretty great, because you can knock someone prone and then also just blast them with your spells. So yeah, this goes together really well. So I would highly recommend trying this if you're interested in a cold build, because you can do a whole lot with this build in Baldur's Gate 3. So I hope you found this video useful, and if you did, please hit that subscribe button below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.